Well, hello everybody. This is the first installment in what hopefully will be many more of our Artravesty, and hopefully it will live up to its name of travesty. Well, it is meant to introduce you to some very surprising elements in very famous pieces of art that no one tells you about. Not your art teachers, and not your art guides, and certainly not the brochures, and never, ever the texts. So I thought that a gap should be filled. And to that purpose are these lectures. Well, without further ado, let's go probably to one of the most famous pieces of art, and it's located in Rome, yes, in the Vatican, and yes, in the Sistine Chapel, right up there on the ceiling, and it's called Temptation and Expulsion. You see, Michelangelo didn't have enough space to picture everything he wanted, so he figured he'd paint two things in one rectangle. And here it is. And you have Temptation on your right and Expulsion on your left. Expulsion is easy. He really didn't have to do anything much there. He used somebody else's composition. He took the composition of a painter by the name of Masaccio, lived 100 years before him, painted a brilliant expulsion, everybody nude, everybody unhappy, in the Brancati Chapel, in Florence. Nobody could do better. That's how Michelangelo felt. So he took that very composition, tweaked it a tiny little bit for symmetry, and left it as is. Now we come to Temptation. Very original composition, and no one had ever done it before. And I am talking all the medieval manuscripts put together. No one, oh, well, they probably thought about it, but they never did it, for fear of being fired, obviously. So here we have the Temptation. And what do we have? Let's start with Adam first. For one thing, what do you see? He is reaching for his own apple. He's not asking for Eve's help. He doesn't think that Eve can help. Clearly, Michelangelo didn't think so either. He has his own agency. He is buff, he is energetic, young. He wants his apple. And he is reaching for him, and he is reaching for it himself. No need of any female whatsoever. Well, unless she is this beautiful rainbow, slithering, sliding, very well endowed Mrs. Snake. Now, that he clearly likes. Who wouldn't? Let's face it. She is irresistible, and she, of course, is a she. So there's our Adam, reaching for his own apple without any help whatsoever from Mrs. Eve. Now let's go to her. She kind of looks disinterested. Why is that? This is ridiculous. This is absolutely nothing to do with the biblical account. In the biblical account, remember, it's the objectionable female that went for that apple of knowledge. She is the one who wanted to know everything, and then she seduced the poor, innocent, helpless little Adam. Well, he's not looking very little here, but well, that's the biblical account. But she is disinterested here. So what is her attitude? Why is her attitude? Well, perhaps we should look at her actual physical attitude to understand her attitude. And what do we find? Where's her head? Her head is in a very awkward place. And if for a second we really used our imagination, and not much imagination is really needed, we could see that she was interested in something else before that slithering, sliding rainbow snake disrupted them. She was interested in something definitely, completely else. And were she only to turn her head slightly to the left, it will become very obvious that Michelangelo's idea of a forbidden fruit. It was not an apple.
Maybe you've read about it in a little book called the Bible.
Read about what?
You know, the garden, the snake, the apple.
The metaphors were a bit off.
That's true. The forbidden fruit was less of an apple and more like a banana.
What to do? And here we have it. Michelangelo's interpretation of temptation. And here is Adam. He is there, as I said, buff and eager, holding on to that branch with his two very muscular hands. And why is he holding on to it? It looks as if he needs some stability, some traction. I mean, what's going on there? Well, clearly, whoever looked at it in the 16th century, when it was painted between 1508 and 1512, understood exactly what went on. Because about 25 years later, the new generation found it objectionable, and they wanted to scrape it all together. But, you know, what was it, 60 feet above? That's a little high to climb, so they didn't. Thank God they didn't scrape it. They scraped a lot of stuff in that chapel, goodness, and scraped, repainted, but that they left alone. But I think that until about 50 years ago, the Vatican never sold any reproductions of this particular scene. Expulsion, sure. Temptation, never. But then you see, we had the entire 20th century of abstract art, of this art, of that art, of postmodern art, of postmodern art, that pretty much taught us not to see whatever we see in front of us. And, well, the Vatican, very safe in the knowledge of this fact that no one really will be able to tell what's going on, they started selling the postcards. Well, and now you know, the truth is always under the tree. Thank you very much. It's been a great pleasure.